Every time he returned a cart, he got a coin. 3 coins could get you a burger, and Steve was starving. He really savored that burger. It was the first real meal he had eaten after being stuck at the airport for days. So, he began gathering carts from all over the place to make some extra cash. If he saw a kid in a cart, he would just tip it over and give them a pat on the head to comfort them. Before long, he gathered a bunch of carts, and coins just kept flowing out. He then headed to the restaurant and used all his coins to get a fancy meal. It was an incredibly satisfying experience. Now that his food and shelter needs were taken care of, the next challenge was figuring out communication. To navigate the airport effectively, Steve needed to tackle the language barrier, so he bought 2 books that had the same content. He began self-studying English using these books, comparing each sentence word by word. Over time, he made significant progress. He managed to communicate with people by guessing and mimicking others. However, things took a turn when Steve started to get used to life at the airport. The supervisor spotted him wandering around the terminal in his pajamas, a show ring without a shirt in the restrooms, and people sleeping in the waiting area clearly impact the airport's image. And the supervisor, who'd been putting in hard work for over half of his life, he finally had a shot at a promotion, so he couldn't let anything go wrong. That's why he devised a plan to drive Steve away. He informed Steve that there was nobody watching the entrance for 5 minutes during the security guards change shifts every day at noon. It was obvious he was suggesting that Steve should leave, and as long as Steve took the hint, once he steps out of the airport gate, the supervisor will promptly apprehend him on charges of illegal entry. At that point, it was up to the police to handle things. The supervisor had stepped back from the situation, but what he didn't anticipate was that just when Steve was about to leave the airport, he suddenly came to a halt. The supervisor was frantically urging him to hurry up and go, but the truth was that Steve felt like something was off. The monitor was always keeping an eye on him. After a moment of thought, he realized it was a trap. So, he yelled at the camera using the English phrases he just picked up. "I'll wait." The supervisor was livid. The next day, he cut off Victor's income source and specifically created a job position for collecting carts.